Would you rather have continued innovation or cheaper bikes? This is off the back of last week's question about bike stuff being expensive. One of the reasons given for prices going up is tech advancements.
I think this is very easy to answer.
Go on then.
I do not care about bike innovation. Bikes are way beyond what they need to be already. There is no more innovation needed. They are fast. They are light. They have electric gears if you want them. They can literally do anything you want them to do. We don't need them to do more stuff. What we need is more access to this technology. Make it cheaper, make it more accessible, have easier ways for people to get into cycling, and spend more time working on the e-bike space so that even more people, again, can ride bikes. That's where the innovation should be.
Do you think it is that not already happening? Because we've picked up bikes for £300, £400 now, which are incredibly good, don't need that much servicing, are light, are fast, relatively. And the trickle down of that tech is the reason why they are good. Not the electric gears and stuff, because that clearly isn't trickling down. But it's the same companies making it.
I think the £1,000 to £3,000 bike should be the £300 bike. £1,000 to £3,000 should actually be £300 to £1,000.
What do you mean?
Well, like the bike, if you got a bike off a shelf for £2,000,
yeah,
it isn't worth £2,000. It should probably cost £400, £500. And I think that's the problem. I guess you're arguing that you need the innovation to have an excuse for older tech that's good to become cheaper.
Yeah.
But you don't. You need lower marketing budgets or to not waste huge amounts of money on marketing and tens of millions of pounds on R&D that doesn't actually achieve anything.
It's a result of capitalism again.
Mm-hmm.
It comes back down to that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But my opinion is we don't need any more innovation. Bikes they don't need to be better. They're at a ridiculous level already.
It is a ridiculous level, isn't it?
Especially when you think that some of the stuff we see at the hill climb. Like if you go like, well, innovation gets lighter bikes. Well, there's already bikes that are 4.5 kilos.
Yeah.
And arguably function like normal bikes, or can if you make a couple of tweaks. Mm-hmm. You could have a bike that's 5 kilos if you wanted to, that fully functions like a normal road bike.
What's your prediction of, do you have in mind what innovation would look like within the next 10, 15 years?
No.
Nick reckons things will start going internal. That's his prediction. So, like classified hub, then you'll get, which is a hub gear, but you can still fit a cassette to it. That's all, inside the hub, sealed. There's been, some people have had issues with them, but like the Shimano Alpine and the Sturmy Archer style hubs, the planetary gears, they're getting better and better. What if that gets put inside the bottom bracket and then it's all sealed away, and then you're not getting weather affected, things aren't getting affected by weather as much. That's his sort of vision of like, oh yeah, bikes will be all clean and you won't see any of the mechanical parts anymore. But really, is maintaining that much of an issue at the moment? You're saying no.
No, and also if you were to do that, it would either have to become a lot heavier. So that's probably a space that's useful for e-bikes, because then you're actually venturing into like e-motorbike space, mm-hmm. and actually just hiding everything away, because it can be hidden away, but it's heavier, but it has a motor, and therefore it all balances out. I think he's definitely talked about drivetrains disappearing into bikes, but I think tech like that already exists. Like there's that, I think it's a German company that do a oil-based internal hub motor that sits in your bottom bracket, and it's just like a full range of gears that are just fully internal. Everything's in oil, so it just doesn't basically never needs any maintenance anyway, and it's a belt drive.
Yeah.
So the only thing you change is the belt, and the belt lasts for something like 20,000 miles or something outrageous.
Yeah. You just change them when you just carry a spare with you. If you're riding around the world, belt drive people they like that. But then the problem with that system is like if you wanted to have a smash up with your mates, and changing gear is just a bit crappy currently.
But I don't think it is. I don't think it actually is. Like I know a guy, I used to work with a guy who was a senior executive in a finance company in the City of London. So I think you can probably guess the kind of money he had. And I think he spent about 15 grand building this custom, and this would have been best part of a decade ago, a custom made titanium belt drive bike that still had 20 odd gears that he was going to use to race his mates up. I think it was Alpe d'Huez or something or other.
Yeah.
And like it weighed something like 7 kilos. So it was light. It was a big bike as well, and it had all of this stuff internal and all of the gears internal, and that tech's there. It's been there for ages.
Yeah, and it's getting more and more efficient. Like, classified is the first example of that, but then obviously you get loads of people like, "This, I hate this." Like people have a real problem with it. Some people just hate innovation, don't they? I think hating it for the sake of hating it is a good stance.
I don't think they hate innovation; they hate change. That's the beast that
it's this like,
with.
Everyone's forcing me to buy it, and it's like no one's really forcing you to buy it, but things do change. Like,
so I think if we go down the route of innovation of vibration reduction, there's already lots of really good products which contribute to vibration reduction, like suspension and massive tires. And tire pressures. There in theory is more innovation that could be had, but do we need it? Do we need that innovation if it costs £100 million to develop over the next 10 years, then allowing more expensive products to come? Well, Redshift, there you go. There's products there already that deal with lots of vibration dampening. I don't think like bikes work really well, like motorbike.
You do think they work well?
Yes, bikes work really well across all of different disciplines. Then you go into motorbikes, which work really, really well. So if you start looking at what other industries can you lend from and things like that, and make bikes more comfortable or venture into the e-bike space. Ultimately, no, we don't need more innovation. We need cheaper stuff that's got better access to.
I'll tell you what innovation I would love to see is obviously dynamos exist, but that technology going further so that you can properly power stuff on your bike using the electricity you generate, or even like your turbo being able to power stuff. So like, for example, I would never ever convert to electronic shifting because I already have too many things in my life that I need to charge, and it really stresses me out having to remember to charge all of the stuff. And it's the same as like, I'll just get this electronic bike pump, and then you have to remember to charge that, and just too much. Electric watches, and then I never remember to charge them, and they stay off all the time. So if there could be like a proper function on your bike, which again might add weight, but then as the innovation proves, things get lighter and all of that kind of stuff, to like properly create a power source through your bike to charge your stuff.
Well, even that tech it already exists.
Yeah, but you can say everything exists on the fringes, but surely the point is that it gets picked up and it becomes part of a bike that you can buy off a shelf. That's surely part of the innovation. In the same way that, disc brakes probably always existed on motorbikes, but were never really a thing on bikes. And now any shop you walk into, you can pick a bike off the shelf, and that's part of innovation, isn't it?
I'm going to represent old people. Have less tech then, and then you don't need to charge things.
I do agree, yeah. And
I'm not targeting that at you specifically, just like if you need something that charges, have less stuff that needs charging.
No, I agree. And we actually get comments on that under like videos. When I remember like when you did the electric pump, people are like, the more reliance on electronics you have, it also creates more waste as well, and like batteries don't live forever, and you're almost creating a solution to a problem that doesn't exist because you already have a hand pump, but you're creating more need for electricity, which is using fuel and all of that kind of stuff.
So who thinks what? I think don't care about innovation, want cheaper stuff.
I think one leads to another. I think what you're stifling the top end will result in a slower production of cheaper good bikes. And I don't know what, they already exist. We've just bought £350 bikes and they've been fantastic, never been better. That's a really fair price.
So you're saying you want innovation because it will lead to cheaper stuff?
Yeah, this is how the world works.
Emily?
I think it's just inevitable. I think if there was no innovation, we would not have anything else to talk about on our podcast anymore.
Please, more innovation, please.
And also, it's just
makes Emily's job easier.
Capitalism makes the world go around. They always have to have stuff to talk about, and therefore, whether you like it or not, it's going to continue.
People creating new things is a fantastic thing. And I don't think that should be scoffed at, stifled in any way.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How cheap do you think a cheap bike should be? What do you think is the lowest figure that it should cost someone to buy a rideable, good bike?
Secondhand or new?
Just new. Like if someone goes like, do you know what, I'm going to get a bicycle. How much should it cost? Stop being distracted by the dog.
It's a really hard question.
It's a very hard question, Jimmy.
I would like bikes to cost £50, but I just don't see how you could ever manufacture a bike for £50 with the amount of metal and stuff that's involved in it. It would just be cheese, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the annoying.
Are you asking where the line is of
Yeah.
what? Like, I guess your original question was, how much should it cost versus how much do you actually need to pay?
In terms of like accessibility, you know, like if someone's like, it's such a good mode of transport, it's good for the environment, it should be more accessible.
But you can, I think, with £50, you can buy a bike which you can get around town and solve those immediate problems with.
But it's probably secondhand.
Yeah, it's Recycle Your Bike. Yeah. There's a shop nearby us called Recycle Your Bike who do up bikes and sell them on. And, you know, you're going to get a rideable, safe mode of transport. I reckon £50 to £100. We should go and do a video about it.
I think
if you spend £200, you're getting like a performance thing. You're getting a really good bike. And if you spend £350, you're in hobby mode, right? It's a different thing.
Does the problem become as well that I noticed this with like my parents and my grandparents, as you become older, you don't really understand the value of money anymore?
It's meant to be the other way around.
No, but like people always talk about inflation and stuff, and I do think that prices outweigh inflation, but also like £5 when I was little had a lot of value, and I feel like you can't really get anything for £5.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Your brain doesn't catch up in the same way, does it?
Like I think my first ever bike as a kid cost like £20, and we got it. We saw an ad in the newspaper and picked it up in Newcastle, and I had it was probably a mountain bike or a hybrid or something like that, and I rode it loads. And maybe that does exist now. I don't know. I don't know whether it's age or just being in the industry so long, but I think the value.
Was it new or secondhand?
It was secondhand.
So like, right, okay, yeah.
But I would never have changed anything on it. I don't even think I would have cleaned it. And it still rode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It still moved, still pedalled, went round.
Okay, so I've worked out, I guess it's not even controversial. I know where innovation needs to happen. The innovation needs to happen in the secondary market. There needs to be better stuff happening. Like maybe the big brands should like take in secondhand bikes, fix them up themselves, and then get them to people, sell them. Actually sell. Imagine, I don't know, a big bike brand, Scott, actually had like a secondhand market on their own website. So, you know, so you upgrade your bike, kind of like phones. Yeah, it's just like phones. So you've got your bike, you want to upgrade it, you give your bike back, they give you some money for it. That comes off of you basically, part exchange it for a better bike. And then that one they've got back, they tidy it up, clean it, and then sell it on the secondary market. So they'll still make money, but it'll get to someone much cheaper.
Mm-hmm. Particularly as a lot of bikes are repairable.
Mm-hmm.
Carbon's repairable.
Yep.
Alloy you might struggle. Steel bike's fine.
Yep.
Titanium is fine. Everything can be fixed. But there is an obsession of like new, isn't there?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We've been hesitant to make a video on secondhand stuff because it's a big topic to cover in a video because there's all the problems of, is something stolen? Where's it come from? Is it safe to ride? There's a lot of...
Is the frame cracked?
Yeah, exactly. And it's very hard to say, yes, you can, the only real advice we can give is go to a place like Recycle Your Bike or Cycle Exchange if you're looking for a more high-end thing where the people check it over, where professionals check it first.
And give you a warranty.
Exactly. So if something does go wrong, you can just take it back.
We will work out how to explore that space because we've wanted to for a long time, but we're just very cautious to not give advice which gets people into a scenario which is not good.
Exactly. Recycle your bike, £50 challenge.
£50.
I challenge you.
I would love it if it was doable.